Okay guys, so before I start this video, I want to let all of you guys know that this coming Sunday, May 6th, I believe, we are having a meetup. It's going to be me and Jed, Seven Wonders the World, and Jax Austin, and possibly some other people, I am not sure. We're all going to be meeting up here in Portland on a Sunday. I'm not sure what time yet or anything like that. Possible location already determined. We'll see. Anyways, we are having a meetup. We're gonna be there probably for a couple of hours. Just, you know, meet each other, meet subscribers, catch up with other creators, and so on. We're gonna bring all of our rigs. Jed is gonna bring his Astro. I'm gonna bring my big van. You guys can come in and check it out if you want to. I'm gonna put the location and the time, if I know the time, down in the description below. So definitely check it out. If you are in the area, come by and say hello. Okay, so before we start talking about the topic, I do gotta go to Burgerville and get some food for Jed. He was working on his Astro earlier and he was trying to change the shocks, and as all of you might know, that he has a hernia, so he pulled something and his hernia has been hurting a bit, so he's hungry and he's relaxing, and I want to be a good girlfriend, so I am gonna go to Burgerville and get him some food, and then we're gonna come back to the topic. Guys, welcome back to my channel. So I was watching some videos recently, and one of the videos, I didn't watch all of it, but part of it, it was a Blind Views video where he was talking about nomads being homeless, or when are you considered to be homeless or not. And he made some good points, and I kind of want to elaborate on that a little bit more and ask the question, am I homeless? Do I consider myself homeless? And anything that comes after that, I guess. So let's start it. So first, before I can even answer the question whether I'm homeless or not, we kind of have to define what homeless means. In my mind, homeless person is the person who lives outside on the streets, in the car, whatever it might be, not by choice. If they had a choice, they would live in an apartment or in a house. If they had a choice, they wouldn't be living on the streets or in a car. So to me, that person is a homeless who cannot afford an apartment, who cannot afford a house, a person who is living on the street not by their choice necessarily, or because they just can't afford otherwise. So to me, that means that person is homeless. A lot of people who live in the vans or RVs are technically not homeless, at least by my definition. And there is a lot of them who have no other option than to live in a van or RV or a car. But a lot of people who don't live this lifestyle, or don't understand this lifestyle, don't agree with this lifestyle, tend to group both of those groups together, tend to think that whether you live in an RV or a van by choice or not, you're still homeless. They're all one group. Like Will Prowse likes to say that, you know, people who live in RVs are junkies and alcoholics and stuff like that. And that's just not true. Just because you live in a van or RV doesn't mean you're homeless, doesn't mean you're junkie, doesn't mean you're alcoholic, doesn't mean you're the dead weight of society. If you look on YouTube, there's many examples of that people who live in vans, not all of them, but definitely part of them, are good people who contribute to society, who pay taxes and who work, and we just choose to live this lifestyle. stupid branch. And then there's people who say, well, you don't have a bathroom and you don't have a kitchen and you don't have a living space or a bedroom, so technically you don't have a home, so technically you're homeless. Well, my answer to that is I do have a kitchen and a bathroom and a bedroom and a living space and an office space and electricity and running water. So according to the definition, I'm not homeless because I have all of those things. Yes, they look different. They're in a lot smaller space, but I still have it. And what about people who live in our RVs? RVs are called motor homes, and they do have like full bedrooms and everything else. Are those people homeless? Well, yes or no. Some people are and some people aren't. I think it just depends on what led that person to live that lifestyle. And that's where I think it kind of becomes a gray line for people, because there's some people who view anybody who lives not in the house and not in the apartment as homeless. And I feel like sometimes it puts a bad name, or it gives a bad name to van dwellers or van life community or van life lifestyle. And I think it's important to educate people, let people know that just because somebody lives in the van doesn't mean they're homeless, doesn't mean they're not a contributing part to society. It doesn't mean that they don't have a job. There's so many people out there who live in the vans or RVs and who do have full-time jobs and pay taxes and, you know, put money into the city and stuff like that. It's case by case basis and it's person by person. I think that it depends on what led you to live in the van. And as I said at the beginning, if you have no other option than to live in a van, you can't afford to live in an apartment or a house, you don't have a job, so you can't pay rent and stuff like that. If living in the van, it's not your first option, if you would rather live in an apartment or a house than living in the van, you just can't afford to, then to me, it's yes, you are considered homeless because you don't live in your home. For me personally, my van is my home. I don't consider myself homeless. I have everything that a home has, and then most importantly, I feel at home in my van, and it's very cozy to me, it's very personal, and I have anything and everything that I need in there. So no, I don't consider myself homeless. I am choosing to live in the van and choosing this lifestyle by choice. It allows me, it gives me more freedom. You know, I can pack up and go anywhere at any time I want to. I'm not tied down by a lease agreement. I'm not tied down by a gigantic mortgage payment. My monthly bills are very, very low now, to the point where I don't have to work a 9-to-5 job or a salary job like I used to before just to be able to afford my bills. I can work part-time and I can focus more of my time on my hobbies and things that I actually love and enjoy doing and things that make me happy, like making videos. Making YouTube videos makes me so happy and I love making them so much. It's a great outlet for my creativity. It allows me to express myself better that way, and it gets me out in nature every single day. I get to explore new places and meet new people and see new things every single day, and I'm not constricted by a schedule or a timeline or big bills. And that's why I love van life, and that's why I live in the van. And I'm pretty sure there are many people just like me who choose this lifestyle. To me, people who live in the vans and people who live in RVs and people who choose this lifestyle and people who just choose alternative lifestyles, to me, they're more independent than people who live in the houses or in the apartments, only because people like myself, we're not tied down by leases, we're not tied down by mortgages, we're not tied down to a job just so we can afford that apartment that we barely spend any time in. And to me, that's more independent than anything else. If you really think about it, people who live normal lifestyles, and there's nothing against it, I'm not saying there's stuff against it. If that what makes you happy, that's great, I'm happy for you. It just wasn't making me happy. But in my mind, when I was living in an apartment, and I had an amazing apartment in a very nice part of Portland, and I had an amazing career job and everything, but I was so like, I felt very dependent on my job because I had to have it in order to afford my apartment. But I never spent any time in that apartment. I spent most of my time at work. I worked 70, 80 hours a week just so I can afford that apartment and other things that I had. And now, even though I make less money and I have less money, I feel richer. I have more freedom in my life. I can do more things. I can experience more things, and overall I feel a lot happier. And being happy and get my creative juices going, and being free to go anywhere and do anything, and be free to go and adventure, go California, Colorado, anywhere I want to, for as long as I want to me that is way more important and way more life fulfilling than working my ass off at the 9-to-5 job just so I can afford an apartment that I barely spend any time in. And it's to me, it's my choice and it's my view. Obviously there's going to be other people who don't think that way, and people who are perfectly content living in an apartment and having a 9-to-5 job and it makes them happy. But for me, it wasn't making me happy, and my happiness at the end of the day is the most important thing. Happiness in my life is the most important thing to me, and that's why I'm doing it. So no, I'm not homeless. I don't consider myself homeless. I do have a home. It just happens to be always with me. It happens to be in my van. It happens to be here in Portland right now, but next month it could be somewhere else. My home is always with me, and that's one of the things I love about this lifestyle.